Nation, welcome to the Duza Bear Digest for Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. In 1983, then Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau's government instituted the Access to Information Act, a mechanism providing for government transparency and accountability. And along with the Privacy Act, it was considered a model of good practice at the time and was universally praised for taking the subject more seriously than most other nations at the time did. But except for a 1998 amendment that made it a federal offense to destroy, falsify, or conceal public documents, almost every subsequent government, in all parties, have gone about subverting it. Mulroney made sure that cabinet documents were excluded. Chretien's government used foot dragging to frustrate both active requests and an accumulative 182 recommendations to improve the system, reluctantly passing only that one 1998 amendment. While Paul Martin's Open Government Act, which would have addressed many concerns about the increasing culture of secrecy within political and bureaucratic environments, died on the books when his government was defeated by Stephen Harper and Jack Layton, who triggered the 2004 federal election, a campaign Harper ran promising to give Canadians a more transparent and accountable government. But despite those government roadblocks and foot dragging, from 1989 to 2008, the requests that were made under the Access to Information system were more available than they are now, because all of them were cataloged in a database called cairs, the Coordination of Access to Information Request System, which, while not originally designed for public use, allowed two non-governmental websites to collect, retain, and make available to the public all the previous information requests that had been granted through search facilities that became a fantastic reference resource for journalists and groups keen on holding the government to account. And it greatly added to the transparency of the federal government for its citizens. So what happened? Well, in 2008, the more transparent Prime Minister Stephen Harper terminated the maintenance of that database, cutting off access for those search engines to any new requests. And then over the succeeding 5 years, Harper proceeded to deny he was frustrating access to information, despite repeatedly cutting both the department handling them and his government's adoption of practices that practically ended paper trails, creating the most secretive government in Canadian history. And while Justin Trudeau hasn't made the situation worse, and in some respects we've regained some of the ground lost during the Harper years, without serious updates, the Canadian Act is abysmal by any current standard, with Ottawa's approach to providing information having more in common with a 19th century horse and buggy society more interested in managing secrecy than a 21st century open one. So it's hardly surprising that a report from the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative found that because of systemic failures to update the Act and bring access of information in Canada into the internet age, the right of access in Canada now falls short of compliance with Article 19 of the 1976 United Nations International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. And with the list of exceptions available in the existing Act growing rather than shrinking, the current status of access to information is so bad that the RCMP has actually stopped responding to access requests entirely, while the Department of National Defense has on multiple occasions just flat out said it would require more than 1,000 days to complete requests. And there's a growing body of evidence that government bureaucrats, and more alarmingly political staff, are conducting their business verbally, without notes, or they're exchanging correspondence through private email addresses, digital services, and other means that leave no trace on government servers. So why have no governments on either side fixed this? I don't know. Could it have something to do with the media and opposition twisting every little nothing burger into the latest so-called headline-grabbing scandal for cheap partisan points? Maybe. On this day in 1793, Alexander Mackenzie reached the Pacific Ocean, becoming the first recorded human to complete a transcontinental crossing of North America. On this day in 1864, General John Bell Hood's Confederate troops unsuccessfully attacked Union troops under General William T. Sherman at Bald Hill, 2 days after unsuccessfully fighting them in the Battle of Peachtree Creek near Atlanta. On this day in 2003, aided by Special Forces, members of the 101st Airborne of the United States attacked a compound in Iraq and killed Saddam Hussein's son, Uday and Qusay. It's also Hammock Day, Creme Brulee Day, Mango Day, and Penouche Fudge Day. That's it. Now I've got cravings. And that's today's Duza Bear Digest. See you tomorrow.